All right, so a lot of folks ask, how do we make our slingshots? And we go about it in several different ways. It can be as simple as picking a natural fork off of a tree and whittling it to shape with your pocket knife, and 5 minutes later you can have a slingshot. Or you can take it many steps beyond, or anywhere in between. So we're just going to show you a few tools that we use today here in the shop. So as far as basic hand tools go, getting into slingshot making does not require a big upfront investment. Most folks already have these tools at home. And to make your own natural fork slingshots or wooden slingshots, really all you need is a good knife and some rasps. One of our favorite is a Nicholson Pattern Maker's rasp. This is the number 49. It's half round on one side, flat on the other. It's not a very aggressive cut, so you can do a lot of fine detail work with this. These are getting harder to find, but this is a fantastic tool. Another one is the microplane. The microplanes work really nicely. They do require that you take good care of them. They are very sharp out of the box, but once they get dull, they're kind of done. Next is just your basic half-round rasp. This one's got a much more aggressive tooth. This is good for heavy stock removal. Then one of my favorites is just a small rat tail. You can get in a lot of detail with this. You can hold it many different ways to do fine detail work. And finally, just chainsaw files. These work really well, and we use golf balls for handles. It makes a nice grip that you can get a hold of nice and easy. And another thing that's nice about it is you can simply drill a hole in your workbench and drop it down through it. When it comes down to other tools, you need something to measure with. We always have calipers around. It's nice to, if you're measuring holes or doing inserts, it's good to have a set of calipers. A small square, and this is a really cool tool, and they're hard to come by. This is made by woodpeckers. They make a line of high-end products. This is called the Fibonacci gauge. And what it does is any dimension, it will give you its golden ratio, basically. So those are your basic hand tools. Sharp knife, oh, and sandpaper. Lots of sandpaper, anywhere from 80 to 400 grit. You can go past the 400 grit, but it's really not necessary. As far as finishing slingshots goes, that's a whole nother discussion, but linseed oil has always worked well. Easy to come by and fairly inexpensive. Now if we move on over here, we'll show you some more machine type shop tools. One of the handiest tools we have for working out patterns is the oscillating spindle sander. This is a great tool to have for bringing edges to square and to your final shape. So if you cut your shape out on a bandsaw, you can bring it to shape with the spindle sander. This has a lot of uses in the shop. If you're skilled with it, you can do contours and lots of other things with it as well. One thing that's really important if you're working with tropical hardwoods or composites is a good dust collection system. If you're not using a dust collection system, you should consider using one. You can hook it up to a shop vac if need be, but keeping that dust out of your lungs is vitally important. Always wear a respirator when you're working with tropical hardwoods, any wood for that matter. You don't want that in your lungs. Another great tool to have in the shop is a sander. Well, this is a pretty heavy duty belt sander disc grinder. This is a 12-inch. We use this for heavy removal of stock. If we're working on natural down to a flat state, we'll do it on this. It has 1,001 uses in the shop, not just for slingshot making. Next, drill presses. We couldn't be without our drill presses. We've got 3 in our shop, and we'll set them up for different operations. Right now, this one's set up for sanding. We've got one over here set up for drilling holes. Then we've got a smaller one on the bench top over here for smaller work. Finally, drill press. Drill press is indispensable in a slingshot shop. We use 2 here. We keep one set up for wood all the time. And that's our larger machine. We'll use this for resawing larger boards down into thinner stock, and we'll also use this one with thinner blades for cutting detail work. And then finally, we've got the old beater here. And this is just an old junky Craftsman we got off of Craigslist. We keep it geared down and usually cut metal or composites on this. The reason we do that is we don't want to wear out the bearings on our good saw that we're doing fine detail work with. This is basically just for hacking. Another one that we use quite a bit is a table saw. Table saw for ripping down a larger stock like sheets of plywood. And finally, we've got a thickness planer here. Neither one of these are really necessary for slingshot making. They just happen to be in our shop. Finally, the scariest tool in the shop is the router table. This is a great tool for making slingshots. It's also a great tool for removing fingers. This is a very dangerous tool, but when you know how to use it properly, you can do a lot with a router table. You can do everything from cutting your band grooves to rounding over your edges. And if you've got the skills, you can set it up to be almost a milling machine. So amongst those tools, you've got pretty much everything you need to make a slingshot. Don't forget though, a pocket knife and a saw and a natural tree fork, and you're on your way. Thanks for taking a look at our shop.